Bore da. As we find ourselves on the threshold of a new year, I found myself meditating upon the new beginning that God gave Moses and the people of Israel. I'm reading Exodus 6, and at the time we find the Israelites in bondage at Egypt. They have for many generations been slaves to the Egyptians, living a life of misery without their freedom and a land to call their own. Then into the mundane, miserable experience, God breaks in and offers them a new beginning. He offers a new beginning for his people. This new beginning would bring them new freedom, new leader, new blessing, new country, to name but a few. And I believe that God is offering our churches and us as individuals a new beginning in 2021, as I trust will end with us all having had our COVID vaccinations and church services back to normal. Or maybe normal is not the right word to use, but back to some form of dynamic worship and Christian services. However, just like Israel of old, before they could enjoy the blessing of their new beginnings, there were a few things they had to overcome and others they had to action. First of all, let me just remind you of the two things in particular they had to overcome. First of all, fear. When Moses first brought the news of a new beginning to them, we read that they were joyous and worshipped the Lord. But when things didn't quite go as smoothly as they had imagined, they began to fear. And they told Moses in Exodus 5:21, "May the Lord look upon you and judge you. You have made us a stench to Pharaoh and his officials, and have put a sword in their hand to kill us." They wanted the freedom and the blessings of a new beginning, but were fearful of what it might entail. And God, through Moses, was asking them to take a step into the unknown with him, and this always brings with it, or brought with it, a measure of fear to the most bold and courageous of people. We too, as we enter 2021, must deal with our fears and start trusting if we are to experience the blessings of a new beginning. The other thing they had to learn to deal with was this letting go. The Israelites, some 4 millenniums ago, were just like us in this new millennium, more comfortable with the status quo than with change. You see, in Egypt, they were in bondage and their lives in misery. However, they did have a routine to follow. They had bread on the table and a roof over their heads, although life was miserable. And in church building and growth, when we move into a new beginning with God, there is no way of avoiding the letting go of what we have and know and adapting to the new beginning that God has for us. And then there were 3 things they had to action. First of all, obedience. When God led the children of Israel out of Egypt and into their new beginning, the word obey crops up from time to time. Linked with the blessings of their new beginning was obedience to God and his word. Think, for example, of the occasion of the Passover. God said to them, obey these instructions as a lasting ordinance for you and your descendants. And for God's people to enjoy God's blessing, there must be obedience to God's directives. And then the other thing they had to action was perseverance. You see, if we believe that God is calling us into a new beginning, then we must persevere if we are to enjoy that which God has for us. You see, Moses believed that God was leading his people into a land flowing with milk and honey. But the journey was a long one and a difficult one. And in order to get there, they had to persevere. And we too must persevere for the new beginning in God. And then the other thing was trust. And this is a big one. If we get this one right, then all the others, I believe, will fall into place. Moses had a problem of trust with the Israelites. May God not have that problem with us. May we trust him with all our hearts. Lean not on our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge him, and he will direct our paths into a new and better beginning in 2021.